Beyond the blinding glow of Las Vegas, what lurks in the shadows that the tourist brochures dare not show? Past the ceaseless chime of slot machines and neon signs, the city bleeds into districts where crime ignites after dark, on streets where unsuspecting visitors become the prey, and into gambling dens designed to bleed you dry in a heartbeat. For every picture-perfect moment captured on the Strip, a no-go zone exists, a place the locals shun, but where tourists wander, year after tragic year. In this critical briefing, we unmask the 9 most perilous zones in Las Vegas you are warned to avoid in 2025. Stay with us because the final revelation will shatter even the most seasoned Vegas veterans. At number 9, Naked City, a deadly illusion of safety just steps from the Strip. Mere footsteps from the radiant spectacle of the Las Vegas Strip, a neighborhood festers, bearing one of the city's most deceptive titles, Naked City. To the uninitiated traveler, the name whispers of edgy fun, perhaps a touch of adventure, but the grim reality is that this zone just north of the stratosphere is infamous among those who live here as one of Vegas's most volatile territories. And herein lies the trap. Naked City's proximity to the main event. It's a siren call for the budget-conscious traveler, luring them into booking a motel. But this bargain is paid for with a currency far more valuable than cash. Official FBI crime statistics paint a chilling picture. Rates of violent offenses and narcotics trafficking in this district soar alarmingly above the city's baseline. Brutal assaults, brazen robberies, and narcotics deals conducted in plain sight are not just possibilities here, they are the grim rhythm of daily life. Especially once the sun sets. For a tourist, to walk these streets is to cross an invisible threshold, leaving the polished fantasy of the Strip for a harsh reality just blocks away. So why does Naked City remain a persistent crucible of danger? A perfect storm of factors converges here. The district is caught in the grip of economic decay. A landscape of dilapidated low-income housing, decaying motels, and a population in constant, desperate flux. This volatile environment is a breeding ground where criminal elements and narcotics peddlers operate with unnerving impunity. Now, introduce a steady flow of naive tourists, spilling over from the neon glow of the Strip, and the formula for disaster is complete. The affordability trap is the bait. Travelers recoil at hotel rates on the Strip soaring past $250 a night, then see a room in Naked City for under $80. But the hidden costs are what they fail to calculate. The non-existent security, the structurally compromised buildings, and the chillingly high probability of being marked as an easy target. Here, saving a few dollars is a gamble where the stakes are your own safety. Despite official attempts at revitalization, the vicious cycle of poverty and lawlessness has proven nearly impossible to shatter. The grotesque contrast between multi-million-dollar casino facelifts and this forgotten pocket of despair just blocks away reveals the fractured soul of Las Vegas. For any traveler listening, the warning is clear. Do not be seduced by the name. Naked City isn't a thrill. It's a liability. If you even consider venturing north of the stratosphere after dark, reconsider your path. Because what you seek as an authentic experience could become a confrontation you would give anything to erase. And if the reality of Naked City is unsettling, brace yourself. We're now heading to a place where tourists chase the illusion of adventure, only to walk directly into one of Vegas's most notorious snares. Number 8, East Fremont Street, where the neon glow hides a nasty secret. On the surface, East Fremont Street projects the allure of an undiscovered gem. Visitors fresh from the dazzling canopy of the Fremont Street experience often find their curiosity pulling them further eastward. The pull to see what lurks beyond the canopy of lights is strong, but a brutal reality awaits. The moment you step outside the heavily policed sanctuary of the tourist zone, the entire atmosphere shifts. Instantly. And for the worse. This isn't just a feeling. The crime statistics scream a warning. While the Fremont Street spectacle is a fortress of surveillance, venture just a few blocks east and you enter a world where the charts for violent crime consistently bleed red. A grim landscape of street-level theft and the desperate trade of narcotics. The Metro Police have issued the same grim prophecy for years. After midnight, this zone transforms into a predator's hunting ground, as cheap motels and dive bars disgorge intoxicated souls onto dimly lit streets, ripe for muggings and brutal assaults. For the unsuspecting traveler, this is the precise moment the festive illusion shatters, replaced by the cold, sharp edge of vulnerability. The economic desperation here tells the whole story. Forget the billion-dollar opulence of the Strip. East Fremont is a forgotten streetscape, lined with decaying motels, shadowy pawn shops, and crumbling low-rent apartments. These places are more than just buildings. They are beacons for a transient and unpredictable populace. A mix of struggling locals and, in the darkest corners, outright criminal enterprises looking for their next opportunity. And while the city pours money into downtown revitalization, that river of cash dries up long before it reaches these eastern blocks, leaving them to fester. The visual shock of the glittering neon canopy against a crumbling motel just 3 blocks away is staggering. It's a siren's call to the curious tourist, a trap baited with the promise of real Vegas. They seek that authentic, gritty experience off the beaten path. But here, that instinct doesn't just backfire, it can lead you straight into harm's way. Walking just a few blocks too far east instantly paints a target on your back. And now, in 2025, with this city locked in a desperate battle against homelessness and a raging drug crisis, being an outsider here is an open invitation for trouble. Listen to the omen from your Uber driver. Even they will warn you not to linger here after dark. And then there's the silent threat, the one you don't see coming. Property crime. Parked cars in this zone are not just vehicles, they are targets, routinely shattered and ransacked. A rental car with out-of-state plates might as well be a lighthouse, signaling a fresh and naive victim to every predator in the vicinity. Travelers who celebrate finding that perfect, free parking spot near Fremont often return to a nightmare of shattered glass and stolen memories. So while the city sells you the romance of vintage Vegas, be warned, the second you stray east of that neon canopy, you have torn up the postcard and stepped into the raw, uncut version. You are now in one of the city's most volatile corridors, a place where the blinding neon does little to burn away the deep, encroaching shadows. And if the air in East Fremont feels heavy with menace, brace yourself. The next location on our grim tour will plunge you into a neighborhood where the statistics on violence don't just climb, they explode, earning it the distinction of being one of the most feared addresses in all of Las Vegas. Number 7. West Las Vegas, where a proud history collides with a brutal present. If there's a part of town that makes a local's voice drop to a whisper, a place they mention with a knowing, cautionary glance, it is West Las Vegas. Just a stone's throw northwest of the Strip's blinding lights lies a community forged in history, steeped in cultural pride, and defined by resilience. But it is also stalked by some of the city's most staggering rates of violent crime. For any tourist, this territory is dangerously misunderstood. It's home to its residents, not a no-go zone, but for an outsider to wander these streets without a guide is to court disaster. The story of West Las Vegas is etched deep into the city's soul. In the annals of its history, this was the vibrant heart of Black culture and entertainment, a sanctuary during the bitter era of segregation, when legends like Sammy Davis Jr. and Nat King Cole could headline on the Strip, but were forbidden to sleep there. That defiant legacy endowed the area with a profound cultural richness, echoing in its surviving jazz clubs, its steadfast churches, and the family businesses that have weathered the storms of generations. But a different, darker legacy also took root here. One of decades of neglect, of crushing poverty, and systemic abandonment that has left deep, festering scars. Today, the crime data doesn't just paint a picture, it delivers a verdict, and it is a sobering one indeed. The official police ledgers tell a grim story, consistently ranking West Las Vegas with alarmingly high rates of deadly encounters, brutal assaults, and territorial disputes. The crossroads of Lake Mead and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard has become a notorious landmark, its name a constant echo in news dispatches detailing gunfire and brazen robberies. But this isn't a monolith of despair. Islands of safety and vibrant community life endure, though they are surrounded by a turbulent sea. For the unsuspecting tourist, however, a single wrong turn off the main thoroughfares after dusk is a descent into hostile, unforgiving territory. The roots of this danger run deep, fed by economic desperation where household incomes are a fraction of the city's average and unemployment is a persistent plague. When you combine this with an uncontrolled influx of short-term rentals and decaying motels, the resulting mixture creates a perfect storm for predatory crime to flourish, far from the Strip's watchful eyes. Here, security is a ghost, and an outsider's face stands out like a beacon. But the true trap of West Las Vegas is the illusion of safety itself. Visitors are often lured by the siren song of lower-priced rooms in motels just off the freeway, or the curiosity to see a real Vegas beyond the tourist bubble. But to navigate this landscape without a local's instinct for its invisible, dangerous borders is to risk stumbling onto blocks where even lifelong residents refuse to walk after dark. It must be said, West Las Vegas is more than its shadows. It is a community of profound resilience and a fiercely proud identity. But for a tourist, this is a frontier to be respected from a great distance. A wrong turn here is more than an inconvenience. It could be a final, fatal mistake. And if the reality of West Las Vegas sends a chill down your spine, brace yourself for the next name on our list. A neighborhood where tourists chasing cheap thrills find themselves trapped in a vortex of chaos they never anticipated. Number 6. The Boulevard Mall area, where cheap shopping comes with a costly risk. On paper, the Boulevard Mall seems like a harmless relic. Built in the 1960s, it's one of the oldest malls in the city, located just a few miles east of the Strip on Maryland Parkway. But in 2025, this once vibrant hub has devolved into a magnet for trouble, a growing hotspot for crime that tourists wander into, completely oblivious to the inherent dangers. The statistics themselves are a chilling warning. Metro police data reveals the area around the mall suffers from some of the highest rates of property crime and violent assaults in the city. Car windows shattered for loose change and brazen shoplifting are the baseline here. And violent robberies are so frequent that local news reports from its parking lots have become a grim, regular feature. For tourists, particularly those in rental cars or carrying shopping bags that scream out-of-towner, the risk of becoming a target is terrifyingly real. The state of the mall itself is a monument to the shifting economics of Las Vegas retail. As the Strip evolved into a global destination for luxury brands, older malls like the Boulevard were left to wither in its shadow. One by one, its anchor stores went dark, their massive vacancies filled by discount outlets and transient vendors. That shift attracted a more volatile clientele while simultaneously crippling the mall's ability to fund a capable security presence. The surrounding neighborhood only amplifies the danger. East of the Strip, certain sections of Maryland Parkway and Desert Inn Road have long been surrendered to poverty, homelessness, and the open-air trade of addiction. Tourists who venture here seeking a bargain often find themselves navigating dimly lit corridors, where loitering is a prelude to confrontation, and the police feel miles away. What begins as a simple errand can quickly spiral into a harrowing encounter with aggressive hustlers, or worse. Even those who call this city home know the unspoken rule. When darkness falls, this area becomes a no-go zone. Whispers of carjackings and brutal assaults in the sprawling, shadowy lots are common. When even Uber and Lyft drivers refuse to enter the zone after sunset, that's a chilling testament to its reputation. The Boulevard Mall area is the quintessential Vegas mirage. From a distance, it shimmers with the promise of bargains and convenience. But step closer, and the facade crumbles, exposing a gamble where the stakes are far higher than any discount is worth. And if you think a shopping mall is a threat, brace yourself for what's next. A stretch of asphalt so notorious, even the city's most hardened cabbies will tell you to keep your distance. Far, far away. Number 5. Twain Avenue and the University District, a volatile crossroads where innocence and desperation collide. Venture just a couple of miles east of the Strip's glittering facade, and you'll find yourself on Twain Avenue, bordering the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. UNLV. Under the harsh light of day, it presents a deceptive normalcy, a blend of student housing, apartment complexes, and corner markets. But when night descends, Twain Avenue sheds its skin, revealing one of the most volatile and crime-ridden corridors in all of Las Vegas. A territory that both locals and law enforcement constantly implore outsiders to shun. The genesis of the danger lies with the weekly motels. Drive down Twain and you'll be met with a grim parade. Block after block of extended stay properties bearing hollow names like Seagull Suites or Budget Inn. These motels, often decaying and neglected, serve as a last resort for transient populations, struggling families, and, all too often, those caught in the grip of addiction. According to Metro Police files, these places have festered into breeding grounds for narcotics trafficking, the flesh trade, and brutal violence. Here, the wail of police sirens is the nightly lullaby. This combustible mix of demographics only fuels the volatility. You have university students seeking affordable off-campus housing thrust into direct collision with a population grappling with deep-seated poverty and homelessness. The result is a palpable tension that hangs heavy in the air, concentrating around the flickering lights of convenience stores and liquor shops, and the stark concrete of gas stations that serve as impromptu social hubs. Any tourist wandering through this landscape, whether making their way to the nearby Ellis Island Casino, a budget eatery, or simply exploring out of curiosity, becomes an instant beacon and a potential mark. But what elevates Twain Avenue from dangerous to truly treacherous for an outsider is the unseen world beneath. The tunnel system. Beneath the city lies a sprawling, labyrinthine network of flood tunnels, a subterranean world that provides shelter for thousands of displaced souls. Several of its dark mouths open directly onto Twain, meaning a sudden disorienting encounter with its inhabitants can occur without a moment's notice. In 2025, outreach groups estimate that hundreds still inhabit this concrete underworld, and while many simply wish to be left in peace, the landscape above tells a different story. Rundown storefronts, heaps of refuse, and a constant heavy police presence serve as a stark declaration that this is not a tourist-friendly zone. As darkness falls, the sparse, dim streetlights do little to illuminate. They only deepen the shadows and amplify the danger. For any visitor lured by the siren song of low motel rates or the promise of a hidden gem eatery nearby, the counsel is brutally simple. Think twice. Twain Avenue may be just a stone's throw from the Strip's neon glow, but the chasm in safety feels a million miles wide. And if you thought Twain Avenue was the precipice, the next location on our list is a descent into an even more notorious darkness. A stretch of Las Vegas Boulevard itself, proving that the city's glittering artery becomes a vessel of peril the moment you stray from the neon's protective embrace. Number 4. North Las Vegas Boulevard, the Strip's shadow self. To the uninitiated, Las Vegas Boulevard is the vibrant, beating heart of the city. The Strip, a glittering mirage of billion-dollar resorts, blinding neon, and 24/7 indulgence. But venture north past the towering stratosphere and the illusion shatters. You've just entered North Las Vegas Boulevard, a corridor infamous for its desolation, a place where the city's darkest secrets fester. And here is the chilling reality. This treacherous path is wedged between the Strip's glow and the Fremont Street spectacle, yet it's a void, devoid of security, swallowed by shadows, and eerily empty of crowds. This lethal combination creates a hunting ground, drawing in desperate encampments, illicit trades, and the raw violence of the streets. Those who dare to traverse this stretch after dusk tell tales of unnerving harassment, aggressive demands, and far worse, of shattered glass and sudden, brutal encounters. The true trap for the unsuspecting is the illusion of safety. They believe the boulevard's promise extends from one end to the other. But the moment you stray from the neon sanctuary, the landscape warps into a graveyard of derelict motels, boarded up storefronts and decaying chapels where vows have long since faded. The locals have a grim joke. It's the Strip's forgotten, nightmarish twin. Even now, in 2025, with hollow promises of renewal echoing in the wind, the specter of crime looms, far exceeding the nation's darkest averages. Certain landmarks serve as grim beacons of the danger. The Gateway Motel, a name whispered among locals, is a known haven for illicit enterprise. The crossroads of Charleston Boulevard and Bonanza Road become exceptionally perilous as night falls, a place of deep shadows punctuated only by the flash of police lights. Even the city's rideshare drivers, who know these streets intimately, harbor a deep-seated fear, refusing to answer calls from this corridor in the dead of night. The economic desperation here only sharpens the edge of the danger. North Las Vegas is gripped by some of the valley's most profound poverty, with incomes that are a cruel mockery of the Strip's opulent fantasy. Consequently, this stretch of road becomes a convergence point, drawing in both the desperate seeking cheap lodging and the predators who hunt them. Rental cars left unattended here are practically an invitation for violation. The cardinal sin for any visitor is to mistake proximity for protection. Being a mere stone's throw from multi-billion-dollar fortresses offers no sanctuary. Their blanket of security does not extend here. With every block you travel north, the risks compound, the shadows deepen. And if you find this darkened boulevard unnerving, our next destination is a place so infamous, its local nickname alone is enough to send a chill down your spine. Number 3. The Shadow of Naked City. A world of crime, just steps from the Strat. Picture this. You exit the shimmering oasis of the Stratosphere Hotel, now called the Strat, and in a matter of moments, you are swallowed by one of Las Vegas's most feared and forsaken neighborhoods. This is the stark reality of Naked City, a district whose notoriety has been chronicled in documentaries and chilling local news exposés, and buried in mountains of police reports. Its name, however, whispers of a different time. Born in the mid-20th century, when the showgirls who called this place home would bask unadorned by their apartment pools. But today, those pools are empty husks. The buildings themselves are crumbling, and the name Naked City no longer evokes glamour, but the grim specter of gang warfare and open-air narcotics markets, and shocking acts of violence. The pulse of police sirens is a constant heartbeat here. The 7-Eleven facing the Strat is a fortress, its cashiers shielded by bulletproof glass. A regular stage for brazen robberies and narcotics busts. Even lifelong residents will tell you, while the chaos has ebbed slightly since the 1990s, it remains a territory where the echoes of violence and desperate exchanges occur at a frequency that tragically eclipses the rest of the city. The neighborhood's very location, just a stone's throw from the Strip, sets a deadly trap for visitors. Lulled into a false sense of security, out-of-towners wander north past the Strat, only to make a fatal miscalculation, a one-block detour west that plunges them directly into Naked City. In a heartbeat, the scene transforms into a nightmare of shadowy backstreets, strewn with debris and watched over by dilapidated motels, and the hushed gatherings of the city's forgotten. What is merely the backdrop of daily life for residents becomes a disorienting, life-altering ordeal for outsiders. But here lies the unsettling irony. This place isn't a complete wasteland. You'll find defiant splashes of color on murals, the hopeful hum of community centers, and even the welcome sight of food trucks, a testament to the resilience of its people. Yet these flickers of life cannot negate the ever-present danger. For any outsider, deaf to the warnings about this area's reputation, the danger is insidious, waiting in the simple act of straying onto the wrong block at the wrong moment, a risk that multiplies exponentially after nightfall. From their high-rise offices, real estate speculators champion Naked City as the next frontier for redevelopment, seduced by its proximity to the glittering strip. Yet, here in 2025, the promised wave of gentrification has done nothing to cleanse its infamous character. As of now, it stands as one of Las Vegas's most perilous zones, where the line between tourist glamour and urban decay is terrifyingly thin. And if Naked City sounds unnerving, just you wait, because our next location transcends the boundaries of a single neighborhood. It is an entire district, a ground zero where the city's most volatile social issues violently collide, creating a nocturnal landscape that even lifelong residents refuse to navigate. At number 2, the hidden streets of downtown. Beyond the blinding luminescence of Fremont, every tourist is sold the same dazzling story, the Fremont Street Experience. A manufactured sky of pulsating neon, thrumming with live music, crisscrossed by zip lines, and monitored by an ever-present gaze. It's sold as the safest, most exhilarating slice of old-school Vegas. What the brochures fail to mention is that a mere stone's throw from that brilliant light, downtown Las Vegas transforms into something else entirely. The data itself tells a horrifying story. According to local crime maps, violent crime in the areas surrounding Fremont Street is a staggering 98% higher than the national average. Law enforcement is a constant, visible force beneath the canopy itself. Yet the moment you wander east beyond Container Park or drift north toward Bonanza Road, the world grows dark. The view is dominated by hollowed-out buildings, the nervous pulse of failing streetlights, and the stark reality of homeless encampments. The feeling is immediate and unnerving. This is no longer an amusement. This is a warning. What creates this deadly paradox? It's a phenomenon known as the proximity trap. Tourists operate under the dangerous assumption that all of downtown is a compact and secure playground. But a brief walk in the wrong direction is all it takes to find yourself in a neighborhood plagued by the drug trade, the shadow economy of the streets, and violent physical attacks. It's a stark contrast to the Strip, where casinos pour fortunes into private security forces. These back alleys, however, must depend on the city's overburdened and thinly stretched metro patrols. The gaping economic divide fuels the problem. Downtown has become a magnet for redevelopment, with glossy new hotels and upscale cocktail bars popping up along East Fremont. But that polished renewal has a clear border, dissolving block by agonizing block, revealing a grim reality of struggling motels and weekly rate housing. It's a perfect storm for crime, brewing just inches away from the tourist playground that generates billions each year. Property crime is also an epidemic here. Rental cars, left just outside the protective bubble of the Fremont canopy, become irresistible targets for thieves. As the locals will tell you, anything left in plain sight, your luggage, your shopping bags, even the change in your pocket, gone in a flash. But this isn't the whole story. East Fremont tempts you with promising restaurants and businesses striving to reclaim the district. But for the unsuspecting tourist, the unspoken rule is absolute. Stay on Fremont Street, but never stray beyond the reach of its lights. In 2025, the shadows past that canopy hold dangers you cannot afford to ignore. And if you believe the city's back alleys are the worst it has to offer, you haven't seen what awaits you at our number 1 spot. A realm so perilous, so volatile that even lifelong residents whisper it's where the city's true dark heart beats. Claiming the top spot, the tunnels beneath Las Vegas, a subterranean metropolis of shadows. Far below the neon spectacle of Las Vegas, a secret world festers, unknown to the millions above. It's a sprawling labyrinth of flood control tunnels, carving over 600 miles through the earth. These concrete veins were engineered with one purpose: to save the city from the wrath of flash floods. But over time, they've become a sanctuary for a forgotten society numbering in the thousands. For anyone from the world above, they represent the most singularly dangerous territory in all of Las Vegas. To step inside is to cross into a parallel world, one that is perpetually dark, damp, and utterly unpredictable. Crude living spaces, cryptic graffiti scarring the walls, and the scattered remnants of forgotten lives line these concrete arteries. Many who dwell here are locked in desperate battles with addiction and profound mental distress, or the crushing weight of poverty. And while some seek only refuge, others are dangerously unpredictable, their actions dictated by substances and desperation. Unwary tourists who find these gaping maws, often hidden near Flamingo Road, Koval Lane, or Twain Avenue, are gambling with encounters that can turn violent in a heartbeat. But the threat here isn't just human. These channels are infamous for one terrifying reason: sudden, violent floods. A distant desert storm can transform a dry passage into a thundering torrent in mere minutes, erasing everything and everyone in its path. The locals know this. They stay away. But the thrill-seeking visitor chasing an urban exploration fantasy tragically misjudges the peril, blind to the fact that dozens of souls have been claimed by these depths. Law enforcement and outreach teams issue the same stark warning: do not enter these tunnels. There are no exceptions. And yet, in 2025, so-called urban explorers on YouTube continue to broadcast their descent into this underworld, all for the fleeting validation of online clicks, while willfully ignoring the life-ending hazards. For any tourist, giving in to the temptation for a single glance can be a fatal mistake, and the danger doesn't stay underground, it bleeds onto the streets above. Its inhabitants often surface near the bright lights of casinos and hotels, driven by a desperation for money, for food, for anything. It is this very unpredictability that stains the nearby streets of Flamingo and Koval, the same ground where the legendary Tupac Shakur's life was violently cut short, and ensures they remain volatile decades later. If Las Vegas is a tale of two cities, of opulence above and destitution below, then these tunnels are its most brutal, undeniable truth. This is not a tourist attraction. This is not the real Vegas you came to discover. This is a life and death ecosystem where outsiders are not welcome. If you heed only one warning from this entire list, let it be this: by all means, bask in the brilliant lights above, but never ever venture into the suffocating darkness that waits below. And that is the final word. The 9 most treacherous places in Las Vegas you must avoid in 2025. This city's magic is undeniable, but your survival must be your first priority. Remain within the sanctuary of the well-lit zones. Listen to that warning voice in your head, and understand that some adventures are not worth the price. Have you dared to tread these haunted grounds? Your story is a warning that must be heard. Share it below, and arm yourself by subscribing for the grim truths we have yet to uncover.